What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I'd do another backtesting video. This time it's going to be on GU, and we're going to be going through sort of like the last year or so of price action. We may not get through all of it. It will depend on how long this video is, but if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to stick around to the end of the video, and let's get straight into the backtesting. All right, guys, so before we go through the backtesting, let me just quickly take you through the rules and the system that I'm going to be backtesting. So the system that I'm currently backtesting is a refinement of the strategy that I was previously using. So we have the same sort of thing with the higher time frame POIs, in that we have to identify where our market structure is. We have to find where the potential reversal and continuation points are, depending on where the liquidity is and where the areas of supply and demand are. So that's sort of the first step, which is to identify the key higher time frame areas of supply and demand, and then obviously breaking down to the lower time frames as well. And then for number two, this is where I've slightly changed it. Only slightly, I've just made a small refinement, and this is the lower time frame entry model. So instead of now just waiting for a simple break of structure and then a retest, what I wait for is some sort of liquidity to also be swept within the higher time frame area of interest, and then I wait for a retest of that candle that swept the liquidity if it also breaks structure. And we also have to have obviously the imbalanced area of supply and demand as well. And an extra confluence is also liquidity below or above that particular zone. Depending on the scenario, that's not always necessary. It will depend on, like I said, each individual scenario. And then for the targets, we target areas of liquidity or supply and demand. And if price is clearly trending upwards, we can just target the next higher time frame, low or high. Minimum 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, depending, because my win rate is between 35 and 40%. So if I have minimum 1 to 3 risk to reward, I am profitable. No break even. My only exception to that on live accounts is when we have high impact news. However, during backtesting, you obviously don't know when the news would have come out, so we're going to be doing no break even whatsoever. It says from August the 1st, but I've already done a part of it. So if we just continue what I started. Get rid of all of that. And as always, we can start on the daily time frame to see what price is doing on the overall bigger term macro scale. So at the moment, GU is clearly bullish. We've had, what I like to do before I start is draw on the sort of the order flow and the mitigations. So at the moment, we've had a mitigation of this previous level of demand. Price has then broken structure on the daily time frame. Just here, this was a major daily break of structure. And what I also like to do is mark on potential points where we could see price rollover and reverse trend. So the first area that we could potentially see that is this area of liquidity. I wouldn't expect a full reversal at this point, but we could see some lower time frame sells from that level, as once price takes liquidity, that's not normally what happens. We also then have, looking on the weekly, we are still bearish. We've had a lower low, price pulled back, mitigated demand, and then we formed another lower low. So this is a retracement on the weekly for then perhaps further sells. And we obviously have as well this next area of weekly supply where we could potentially see the reversal. So in the meantime, we're obviously looking for buys. Price is very bullish at the moment, at least intraday. So we can go down low to the lower time frames and now look at potential areas where price may want to react from. So at the moment, I can see this level. But apart from that, not too much. We go on the 1 hour. And just wait for our price to retrace and form some structure. Not interested in the sells. As I said, price is bullish. Okay, so prices kind of come into this area of imbalance and started to shift structure, but I'm not really seeing anything too clean. Nothing too clean there, so just gonna wait a little bit. Okay, so now we have a further break of structure. So now that forms our new trading range, which is from the low to the high. And now we can wait for a retracement, possibly into, this is the extreme demand. We also have this one just here. So these are sort of the two areas where I'd be interested in. And for this strategy, we also require that they are in a discount. So if we get the fib tool, discount is below the 50%. So we can wait for a retracement to either this level or this level, as these two are the discounted areas of demand. Nothing from that one failed. And I'm also going to drag this up to here, as this is the 4-hour area of demand. And for the entry time frame, I like to use the 15 and also sometimes the 5. So that's what we're going to be sticking with. And there we go. That would be our first sign of a reversal. We have the change of character. This area becomes mitigated. I'm not currently seeing any entries though, so wait a little bit. There we go. That's why I like to see the supply fell above as well, because we had a reaction from this zone. This was just a sweep, but we are still in that POI, so we can wait, possibly refine it to this zone and see what happens. On the 15. Okay, so now what we've had is a valid entry. So we go on the 15-minute. Price came to our refined area of higher time frame demand. We swept. Notice how this wick here, we swept it with this candle, and then we had that change of character, which is what I said my refined entry was, when we have a sweep and then a break. We've had some liquidity left above, so we can set the limit like this, stops just below. And with this, I now use a tighter stop just below the area of demand, since these areas that sweep the liquidity, I find are normally stronger. And if price is gonna, if price is gonna go with the bias that we have, so either bullish or bearish, then it is unlikely to break this previous area of demand that swept the liquidity if we are right. So there's no reason to have a bigger stop loss than that. And for this, we're going to just target this area of supply, which is a 1 to 5.5, which is perfectly fine. And now we see if we get tagged in or not. Maybe not. That one might have missed. But what we've also done now is we have taken out this major structure. So on the 1 hour, that would be a 1 hour confirmation. That'll be our 1 hour change of character, showing us that price will most likely move back now to this previous high. So what have we got? We've got this area of demand down here. But what I'd like to see now is for price to generate some liquidity above it. We see like that. Set the limit, stop below the low, and target the high for this as we have broken out of that 1 hour structure and price is very bearish, higher time frame. Place the order. And the liquidity that I'm seeing above the level was this higher low that price created with the imbalance below. So a lot of people, this is why a lot of people would have been buying, creating that higher low pressure. That's why we form the higher low. So price will most likely now come and take out all of the early buyers within this previous range, come into a discount, and then make the real move to the upside. So let's see if price tags us in. All of this, I'm just seeing as liquidity still. There we go, tagged in. Let's also see if we can get another confirmation entry to scale in. So we have the sweep. And obviously then the change of character, as this is a break of structure in the opposite direction to the trend. I wouldn't scale into this though, as I don't see any clear POIs. And that is why that would have been taken out. Let's see what happens now. Now we've had all of this liquidity taken. We've had this change of character. And on the 30-minute, we have left this sort of area where a scaling would be valid, as it is an imbalanced area of demand, which calls the break, stops just below the wick, and we can target this same area up here. I want to make the stop loss a bit bigger, actually below the bodies, just to see. And does it get tagged in? Might have missed us. Let's see if it comes back. It is still valid because that could be inducement. There we go. Running quite nicely. And there we go. First trade, take profit was hit. And now we can mark on that second breaker structure that we've seen following the trend. Also keep in mind this area of liquidity that I said that price could possibly sell from. So if we play it on a little bit. So we could see price come below this. This is all liquidity. And we have this sort of whole area below it, which on the higher time frame is an area of demand. This is the one that initiated this big buy and move and also broke this structure. So if we see what happens when price gets to there. So the liquidity was taken out. Price didn't come to our area of demand, but if we get a valid confirmation, then this can still be valid as we swept all of the buyers from the previous range. So let's see. There we go. We've broken structure twice. We had this level broken and also this one, which was the supply just above, that also failed. We have all of these areas here are efficient. This is the most recent like imbalanced area that was left inefficient. So if we see, yeah, we can set a limit on this. This is a valid area. Going to refine it to that 15-minute area just there as well. And the reason it became valid was because price started to generate this liquidity. So we are confident that it's not just a sweep of previous structure and then a reversal. And for this, we can target, again, previous highs up here. And we can see what happens. Tagged in. And there we go, straight to the take profit on that one. And once again, we can mark on the next breaker structure. Trend is still intact, so we can just keep following this until it breaks. And like I said, keeping in mind that once price sweeps this high, we may see some sort of sells, or I may just want to keep continuing up to this area of weekly supply that I also marked out. Not seeing too many areas of interest at the moment, unless we come down to this previous 4-hour demand. Okay, so there we go. That area on the daily that I mentioned, the previous high, massive liquidity pool. So we could see some sort of sells from this level. If we go to the 15-minute, like I said, see, we tap that area perfectly, go a little bit above to take out those previous sellers, and then we begin to move over to the downside. I'm not seeing this as a complete reversal though at the moment. We keep playing price. See what the daily's doing. Okay, so I think we could get some sells down to this level because we have a valid confirmation. So once price swept that liquidity that I mentioned at previous daily high, we then had this initial tap of the zone, which was also swept by this huge impulsive candle. We then had a break of structure to the downside. So our change of character. And on the 1 hour, we left behind these two areas. We have this one and we have this one just above as well. These are the two areas of supply which caused the structure break. So I'm going to set a limit on the first one with stops just above the second, and then we're going to target this area on the 4 hour for a nice 1 to 3. Let's see if it plays out. Damn, so that just missed us, reacted from this wick instead. That's fine. We can go to the next trade. See what happens at this 4-hour zone. Okay, so that failed. And price seems to be quite bearish at the moment, so we could see a full reversal at this point. And like I said, when price reverses, it always does this. It will come to a massive liquidity pool, such as this on the daily, where we had those previous sellers and then all of the imbalance above. Price takes them out, and then we come for opposing liquidity. And in this case, that is the buyers. So we should expect all of the buyers to be taken out of the market now. So if we mark on the new structure, we've had change of character here on the 4-hour after we swept the previous high, which we can mark on as well. So now we can look at potential sells. Following the structure once again, we have hourly breaker structure just here. We have this hourly POI. Oh, wrong tool. This one just here, which is the imbalanced supply, which broke the structure. And we can wait for a confirmation within that region. If price falls back to, there we go. So now we can go to the lower time frames. See what happens. And also look at this one above as well. This one was left imbalanced as well, so this could be liquidity below it. We keep playing price. This will also be valid if we have like a small sweep of the high and then the break. It's sort of like a smaller time frame version of what we just saw on the daily, where we have a sweep of the lower high or the liquidity, and then price break structure as well, following the 15-minute as always. No entries yet. Okay, so this is where we could potentially see the confirmation. Where we have a sweep of this high. Just looking on the 4-hour. Price doesn't really have any reason to reverse from this region. We close below the demand, and this is looking very bearish. So this, in my opinion, is not a change of character, and I wouldn't be looking for buys. I'd be waiting for price to return bearish on the 15-minute like that. So we have a sweep of all of this, which is probably Asia. Yeah, so this was like the Asian range. This was the previous Asian low. We had a sweep of that lower high as well. And on the 5-minute, we've had change of character within this region. And we also have the 5-minute area just here, which caused that break. So we can set a limit on that area. Stops above the high, as if price goes above the high, then we were clearly wrong. And we're going to target all of this liquidity down here. Place the order and tagged in. Let's see. So this area was mitigated. We then have a new area formed in here where we could see a retest. Or maybe not, no retest, that's fine. And price has now continued bearish, like we said. So we can mark that on, break a structure once again. And now we can wait for a retracement to a premium level of supply. We have this imbalanced area, and that's the only one within the current range that I'm seeing. So if price doesn't pull back to there, there's a no trade. There we go. Price pulls back. I'm going to wait for the confirmation again. We have had this area of demand fail, but I don't see any valid entries at the moment. You don't always get them, obviously. Yeah, so in that case, we just had a zero entry. Came to the supply, broke structure without giving us confirmation. That's fine. We have now another breaker structure. If we look on the higher time frame, we can wait for price to pull back to this sort of area. Still following the overall trend. In my opinion, price could head towards this area of demand, which is the one which was induced by these two equal lows. And we have all of this 4-hour liquidity just there. See if we get a retracement. We go, wick into our area. Can we get an entry? Don't like how we left that double, those equal highs just there. Yeah, I'm not seeing any valid entries on that one. Yeah, another no entry on that one. This strategy doesn't work very well when price is really like just consistently forming these new lower highs and lower lows, as price normally doesn't give you an entry. It normally just taps the area and then goes. Next area would be this one, as this is liquidity just below. So we wouldn't consider this area of supply just there. See if we get an entry here. Go, nice reaction. See if we retest this zone. And for this, we can just target that 4-hour zone where we think price is going to go. Place the order, see if it tags in. And probably not. And price broke structure again. And once price breaks the structure, I'll just cancel the trade. As then we would obviously wait for a pullback and a confirmation. And there we go. Price has come into our higher time frame target. So now we can wait and see what happens. There's so many mitigations in this chain now, by the way. So all of this becomes liquidity, since we've just simply had this very, very obvious downtrend forming where price creates a lower low, pulls back, creates a lower high, lower low, lower high, and so on. At that point, it becomes too obvious. Everybody's seeing it, and therefore it becomes the liquidity. So I'll try and get one more trade before I end this video, as it was already probably quite long, just to make sure on the daily what we're seeing. Yeah, so clearly on the daily, we are still bullish. This was just an area of liquidity, which, like I said, by the way, once we take out sell side, we come for buy side liquidity. This was the buy side. Now both buyers and sellers have been taken out of the market. So we wait and see what happens and who regains control. Okay, so after the reaction from our area, we have the change of character. Price pulls back into a discounted area of demand. I think I played price a bit too fast there, though, because we missed it. Let's see if we get a fractal confirmation. No, there's no valid entry there, so I'll wait for a further break if we get one. There we go. We have a break just there. All of this previous liquidity was taken out. And what was it taken out by? It was taken out by... Alright guys, sorry about that. The laptop ran out of charge, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.